You're running on fumes. Your mind is racing with 100 different things you have to do today. And it's only 8 in the morning. We call this modern life, but truthfully, it's just pure chaos. You try to turn off the noise. You put away your phone, you sit down, and suddenly your brain gets louder. I know exactly how that feels. You sit there vibrating with anxiety while trying to force yourself to be quiet. But true stillness, the kind of peace Jesus actually promised, it doesn't come from just emptying your mind. It comes from anchoring it. I've watched so many people burn themselves completely out trying to find peace in a frantic world. If you don't learn how to practice biblical mindfulness, this chaos will entirely swallow you. You'll stay exhausted, running a race with no finish line. But there's a way to genuinely quiet the storm inside your head. It starts with realizing that stillness isn't the absence of noise. It's a very specific presence. You hear the word mindfulness everywhere now. Every wellness app and every online guru tells you the exact same thing. Just breathe and empty your mind. Let it all go. But let's be honest. When you are dealing with crushing weight, when your bank account is drained or your family is completely falling apart, emptying your mind is the absolute worst thing you can do, because an empty mind is a vacuum. If you just sweep it clean and leave it empty, the anxiety rushes right back in, and it usually brings friends. This is where biblical mindfulness steps in and shatters the modern mold. We aren't trying to achieve some vague state of nothingness. We are practicing aggressive replacement. Think about what Paul wrote while he was literally sitting in a prison cell. Philippians 4:8. He tells us to fix our minds on whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, pure, lovely, and admirable. He doesn't say, close your eyes and think about a blank wall. He says you need to drag your attention away from the spiraling chaos and lock it onto the truth. When you're lying awake at 2 in the morning and your thoughts won't stop spinning, you have to take those thoughts captive. When the panic hits, do not surrender. You don't just sit there and let the fear wash over you. You fight back. You fill your mind so incredibly full of what God has spoken that the anxiety literally has nowhere to sit down. You remember Psalm 46:10, "Be still and know that I am God." That command to be still, it doesn't just mean relax your shoulders. The ancient root of that phrase means to drop your weapons. It means let your arms fall to your sides. Stop trying to fight the battle yourself and let him take over. When the chaos hits, your body physically responds to it. Your heart rate spikes. Your chest gets incredibly tight. It feels exactly like a physical attack. And trying to just think your way out of it usually makes the spiral worse. This is when you have to interrupt the pattern, out loud. Jesus didn't just ignore the storm on the Sea of Galilee. Mark chapter 4 tells us the disciples were absolutely terrified. They were screaming that they were going to drown. But Jesus was asleep. He wasn't ignoring the reality of the wind and the waves. He was just anchored to a much deeper reality. You have to drop your own anchor. When your mind races, you need to speak the truth out loud. Your brain literally needs to hear your own voice commanding the room. Say it. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Say it again. Say it until your breathing actually slows down. You're rewiring your nervous system out of that fight or flight panic and pulling it directly into the presence of God. You're taking the wheel back from the chaos. It takes practice. The very first time you try this, it's going to feel awkward. You'll feel like you're just talking to an empty room. Keep talking. The enemy wants you completely isolated and trapped inside the echo chamber of your own head. When you vocalize the word of God, you shatter that isolation entirely. You force the chaos to submit to the authority of Christ. Do not wait until the house is burning down to start looking for a fire extinguisher. That is exactly how most of us treat stillness. We wait until our stress is at an absolute breaking point, and then we desperately beg God for 5 minutes of peace. But true biblical mindfulness is proactive. It is a daily rhythm. It is a muscle you have to build when things are quiet. Look at the life of Jesus. Mark chapter 1, verse 35 paints a crystal clear picture. Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. He didn't wait for the crowds to completely crush him. He didn't let the overwhelming demands of the day dictate his mental state. He secured his anchor before the sun even came up. You need a solitary place. Maybe it's your car in the driveway before you walk into the office. Maybe it's a specific chair in the corner of your bedroom at 5 in the morning. Claim that space. Guard it fiercely, because the world will absolutely try to steal it from you. Your phone will vibrate, the news cycle will scream at you, the emails will pile up. Let them wait. When you sit down, do not immediately start listing off your demands to God like He is a vending machine. Just sit. Acknowledge that He is right there with you. Breathe in, and remind yourself out loud that His mercies are new every single morning. Lamentations chapter 3, verse 23 guarantees it. If you build this unshakable foundation when the water is totally calm, you will not drown when the storm inevitably hits. You will already know exactly where to find your peace. Even if you build that morning habit, the day is going to test you. You will inevitably face situations you simply cannot fix. And that is the absolute root of so much of our panic. It is the obsession with control. We secretly believe that if we just worry about a problem long enough, we can somehow manipulate the future. We think anxiety is a tool that protects us. It isn't. It is a weight that completely crushes us. Think about Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. What does leaning on your own understanding actually look like? It looks like obsessively running through 100 worst-case scenarios in your head. It looks like trying to micromanage everyone around you because you are terrified of what will happen if you don't. To find actual stillness right in the middle of chaos, you have to do the hardest thing of all. You have to absolutely let go of the outcome. You do the next right thing. You work hard, you love your family, you make the wise choice, but you surrender the final results entirely to Him. You have to look at the storm and accept that you cannot control the wind. Do not try to play God. You will break your own back carrying weight you were never designed to hold. If the deal falls through, if the diagnosis is frightening, if the plan completely falls apart, He is still firmly on the throne. Your stillness doesn't come from knowing everything is going to be perfectly fine in this life. Your stillness comes from knowing exactly who holds you when things fall apart. Most of the chaos you are feeling right now isn't even about today. Think about it. You are sitting in a room perfectly safe in this exact second, but your mind is 5 months or 10 years down the road fighting a battle that hasn't even happened yet. You are literally time traveling into the future just to invent new things to be terrified of. Jesus directly addressed this mental trap in Matthew chapter 6, verse 34. He said, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." He is commanding us to stay fiercely locked into the present moment. Think about how God provides. He gives you exactly enough grace and strength to handle the specific 24 hours you are currently standing in. He absolutely does not give you the grace today to handle tomorrow's hypothetical disasters. When you borrow panic from a future that doesn't even exist yet, you completely blind yourself to the presence of God right in front of you. Stop time traveling. When you feel the chaos pulling your mind into next week or next year, force your attention violently back to right now. Look at your own hands. Feel the solid ground under your feet. Ask yourself, what is God doing right here in this specific minute? You have to completely trust that when tomorrow finally arrives, He will already be standing there waiting for you. But right now, He is here. He is in this exact breath. Don't miss His peace today because you are too busy fighting terrifying ghosts in the future. There is one more weapon you have to pick up, and it is usually the absolute last thing you want to do when your life feels completely out of control. We talked about Paul earlier, but we skipped a crucial step in his letter. Right before he says to fix your thoughts on what is true, in Philippians chapter 4, verse 6, he gives the actual formula. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. With thanksgiving. You have to understand that gratitude is not just some polite religious suggestion. It is an incredibly violent weapon against the chaos. When you are terrified, your brain naturally scans the horizon for every single threat. It magnifies what is broken, and it completely minimizes what is good. Gratitude forces your mind to pivot. You literally have to stop right in the middle of your panic and state out loud what God has already done for you. He kept your lungs breathing today. He put a roof over your head. He forgave your sin. Say it out loud. When you start stacking up the undeniable hard evidence of his faithfulness in your past, the current crisis completely loses its grip on your throat. You stop staring at the giant standing in front of you, and you start focusing entirely on the God who has already slain every giant you have ever faced. Do not let fear give you amnesia. Force yourself to remember. That is how you lock your mind permanently into his peace, no matter how loud the world gets. The chaos in the world might never fully stop. The storms are definitely going to rage. But you do not have to let the storm live inside of your mind. True stillness isn't some magical escape from reality. It is a heavy anchor directly in the middle of it. You have the weapons now. Take your thoughts captive, speak the truth out loud, and finally surrender the control you never actually had. I want to know which of these steps you are going to practice today. Tell me in the comments exactly what your battle plan is. Declaring it is the absolute first step to holding your ground. And if this message helped you finally catch your breath, subscribe to the channel right now. We are building an army here that fights the daily noise with the truth of God every single week. You do not have to drown in the panic anymore. Step into the peace he already promised you.